In part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, 8 stakes races on this Sunday card to close things out, and a day that we always love to bring you, featuring these New York bred. So many competitive races. Going to close it out with the Empire Showcase. That's later in the day. That'll be seen off air on YouTube, but we're going to have the majority of the card, 12:30 to 2 coverage, and then 4 to 4:45 on FS2. Greg Wolf, New York Racing Association handicapper, Andy Serling. I'm so intrigued about one of these early matchups. It's become really a great rivalry between City Man and Spirit of St. Louis.
I agree. And City Man, who has the great accomplishments going back for a long time, Spirit of St. Louis, sort of the new kid on the block. With the late defection of Call Me Harry, it takes some of the speed out of the race. That's going to help Spirit of St. Louis and going to hurt City Man. They've
split their last 2 meetings. This is the rubber match coming up, and that'll be early on in race number 2 in the Mohawk for $200,000 at a mile and a 16th on the turf. Today's action presented by Claiborne Farm. We'll bring you races 1 through 3 early on our first edition of America's Day at the Races here on FS2. Again, back at 4 to 4:45, excuse me. And we are fast and firm as we are just moments away from the opener. We're 4 minutes away from kicking off this card to close out this meet with a riding title still very much in doubt. 3 riders still in the mix. Manny Franco, Rad Ortiz Jr., Jose Ortiz. It's Manny leading the way. He's 1 up on a Rad. And Jose Ortiz, who was out of town yesterday, he's only 2 back. You can play all the action, of course, by getting signed up started at NYRABets.com. Cup 25, that promo code to use at sign up. Card kicks off sprinting on the turf with a New York bred maiden special weight. And a lot of question marks in here.
Well, nobody's been on the turf. The only one with form was the 13 who didn't get in, and the rest of them have, like so many other horses, been rained off the turf more than once.
Here's Lou's Redemption. He is back. Jose Ortiz, he was at Keeneland yesterday, riding here for David Duggan.
Tried to get on the turf in the first 2 starts. The Dam did win in the turf, but not really a particularly strong pedigree. The Catholic boy gives some.
Joel Rosario returning to New York for Rudy Rodriguez.
And this horse is a half to 1 turf winner that ran okay, so there is some turf pedigree on this one.
Ray Handel with a first-time starter, Tongue Twister, a Rad Ortiz Jr.
I think a Seeing Eye Rad has to attract some attention, though it's not really a pedigree to speak of for turf on the Dam side.
11 to 1. Jose Gomez on Saving Memories for David Donk.
And as we love Dave Donk, I didn't see the pedigree for this one to handle the grass.
Little how you doing for Phil Serpy. The Dam actually won a New York Stallion Stakes series on the turf.
Yeah, well, the Dam was a very nice turf horse, and half the very, very good Hessonite. I picked this horse on top. There's plenty of pedigree.
Favorite is this one, who 3rd time the charm, finally going to get on grass.
It's amazing. They're all rained off. Pretty much all of these horses that have started have been rained off the turf. And Dusk, the Dam was a turf winner. This is the first foal. It's moderate turf pedigree, but is a dangerous horse.
And that was Manny Franco in the 6, who's leading the way in this jockey title on closing day. Learning to Fly, trained by David Duggan.
Yeah, the Dam did win 1 of 9 starts in the turf, produced 3 to try the turf that could not run at all.
We're up to the 9 already. This is Fabulous Fox, Dylan Davis.
Named for the great theater in downtown Atlanta, the Fabulous Fox. A smidgen of turf pedigree. And half to White Chocolate has been a good performer in the dirt recently.
There's some pedigree with this one at a huge price at 38 to 1.
A half to 4 turf winners, actually. Lauban, not really a great turf influence, but there's enough turf that at this price, Greg, you could do worse than throw it in.
Damn, including Dropped Waterway Run, who was a Group 3 winner in the U.S. and over in the U.K. 2 minutes away from this opener on Empire Showcase Day. Let's bring in Maggie Wolfendale.
And Greg, what a difference a day makes, as I was nearly sweating yesterday and now I'm shivering. But here we are. Good thing the skies are gray, but there isn't much moisture falling out of them. As we'll take a look at some of the players here, I landed on, unfortunately for me, the favorite, number 6, Dusk, but I've been waiting to see her on the turf. She just looks like a turf sprinter. She's small, she's compact, she has that proverbial turf hoof to her, and while she's a little bit underwhelming when you first look at her, she kind of comes to life when she gets out on track. And watching her warm up, she really kind of solidified me in my thoughts about her liking this surface switch and just being forward today. As we move on to some first-time starters, number 3, Tongue Twister, as Andy said, she looks to garner some attention given the jockey, given the trainer, given the owners. But she is one that has a pedigree for me that suggests that if there's any running to be done, it's going to be done going longer in a better way. She just looks like she wants to go a little bit further than this. We'll see. She's been well prepared. She looks pretty fit for a Ray Handel first-time starter, and she's been professional. Another firster is the one that I know Andy likes, is little How You Doing. She made an excellent impression. She's well muscled. I love the way she's put together. Looks a lot like her dam Selenite. And Jose Lezcano, when he got out here, really asked her and kind of smooched at her to really jump into the bridle. So I think he wanted to wake her up a bit, because you can't get out-footed in these turf sprints, especially with these young horses. But she's built to show some speed. As number 9, Fabulous Fox. Look, there's a pedigree to go either way, but she definitely has a turf look to her, has a sprint look as well. I like these Nyquist. They can kind of do anything. And typical of Christophe Clement, she's well prepared, and she should be a dangerous one in this affair, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. Post time coming up to kick off this closing day of this Belmont at the Big A meet.
Yeah, how could you gotta love Fabulous Fox. For anyone that's ever been to that theater in downtown Atlanta, it has a moving cloud cover on the ceiling. It's a very, very cool historic place, actually. And I imagine that Dean Reeves, being from down in Georgia, named this horse. He is the part owner of the horse, named the horse for the great theater down in Atlanta.
Ready to kick things off again. Manny Franco, 31 wins. Arad Ortiz Jr., 30, and then Arad's brother Jose with 29. It's going to be fun to see how this plays out throughout the afternoon. 4 races today. All 3 of them will be lined up in.
Do you think that Linda Rice is okay with the fact that for the first time in about a year, she hasn't won a training title at your track?
5 straight training titles on this circuit, of course, tied with Chad Brown at Saratoga that she had won or tied. We got to applaud her for that incredible streak. It will come to an end. Congratulations to Chad Brown.
But still had a great meet. I mean, Linda still had a great meet, finishing second. And, both she and Chad Brown come off those meets at Saratoga, and they didn't skip a beat.
Incredible run. But, yeah, both of them well done. But Chad Brown's going to take this training title. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial to get us started on Empire Showcase Day.
And they're off. Bit of a hesitant beginning for number 9, Fabulous Fox, and she trails the field. It is Little Hey You Doing who goes out for the early lead, with Dusk racing in second, Learning to Fly is on the outside and in third, then Baroness Bourbon in fourth. Moving up is Tongue Twister in between horses from fifth. Saving Memories is down at the rail in sixth, followed by Starlight Dancer in seventh after the slow start. Fabulous Fox has advanced down at the rail. The trailers are Handle on You and Lose Redemption. The opening quarter, 23 and 1/5 seconds. Little Hey You Doing leads here by a neck. Dusk right there on the outside in second, with Saving Memories down at the rail and in third. Tongue Twister is now moving up. Then comes a Learning to Fly. Baroness Bourbon will be forced widest of all, and Starlight Dancer. They come off the turn and into the stretch, the half and 48 and 1, and it is Dusk who now has taken the lead. Dusk in front and clear by 3 lengths. Then a Little Hey You Doing, Saving Memories, Tongue Twister on the outside. It is Dusk with the lead as they come on for the finish. It is Dusk, and it is Manny Franco aboard. Dusk is the winner. Turned out to be close for second between Tongue Twister and the late closing Fabulous Fox.
Public gets this right to start this Sunday card. It's Dusk, the favorite for Horacio De Paz, and Manny Franco strikes first blood. He's now 2 up in this riding title.
You see the horse, part owned by Eclipse Thoroughbreds. Seen them in the winner's circle quite a bit, and they're looking forward to a big Breeders' Cup with a couple of major players in the juvenile races. And listen, I don't know how you take 9 to 5 on this horse with not enough turf pedigree, but this is not the first time. This is like a second or third time at this Belmont at the Big A meet where trainer Horacio De Paz has had a maiden 2-year-old going first time in the turf with modest at best turf pedigree that's gone off at a short price that Manny Franco has ridden and has won for fun. Was poised the whole way. My 5 went the lead, as Maggie predicted, would have speed, just wasn't able to sustain it, and this horse was able to run away down the stretch. An easy winner. 9 to 5, tough to take, but one should have been shorter.
So third time out, finally gets on the grass after those first 2 were washed off, and you could see why they wanted this filly on the green.
And that's 2 for Manny. 2, he's up by 2 with 9 races to go.
Correct.
Wow.
Horacio De Paz, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, Gary Barber, and Manny taking the opener on the card.
Spirit of St. Louis wins the next race. He could be up 3.
That's where we're going to have that
He's
big
got the
showdown.
heavy favorite in the third, too. I'm going to take a stand. Manny Franco wins the meet. I'm looking at those two horses. He's going to win with at least one of them. He's going to win.
Early to make that call, but this certainly, his odds have gone way up after this victory to give him a 2-race cushion. 1 race into this 10-race card. We'll have the prices from Dusk's win, taking the opener, and take a look back to yesterday. Some real emerging stars on that Saturday card. Chigera in the Mother Goose, sensational again, and ever so mischievous. Ever since adding blinkers, and a different horse for Brad Cox.
Eclipse Champion Blade, a proven sire with over 15% lifetime stakes horses. And in the sales ring, Blaine continues to prove his value.
Now 50, 550, 550,000.
I'm at a very 85, 85, 85, 485,000. Thank you.
310,000 upstairs.
His stakes-producing daughters include the dam of Eclipse Champion Forte.
Forte to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Blade, standing at Claiborne Farm.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Empire Showcase Day to close out this Belmont at the Big A Fall Meets, presented by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. And Manny Franco, spooky good start to this card. 32 wins, 2 up now in the riding title. 9 races remain. Dusk, public was all over this one as the favorite.
Yeah, and they were right. I mean, this horse won like a good thing here. 5'9", it was like an overlay. Dusk, by the way, was the dam of the mighty Johnny D. He was a turf champ in the 70s. And there's a picture of him up on the wall right by the studio on the first floor.
6'3", 9'1", here in the opener. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
What? Oh, sorry, we're having a whole personal conversation here. Sorry. Tell me after. Let's talk about the horse real quick. Dusk. You've been trying to get her on the turf, and she has a little bit of turf pedigree, Horacio, but she looks like a turf sprinter.
Yes, I mean, when we ran her at Saratoga, obviously we thought just the way she was working it, she probably liked the turf. She wasn't finishing her works quite as well, but she's just been hard luck as far as the rain got canceled, and we decided to run. She didn't really perform, and the last time here it rained again, took her off, and she shows ability, but she just didn't like the surface.
Yeah, she just can't finish those races, like you said, in her works too. But this performance leads you to believe that there's certainly some talent when she gets on the green, but it it's almost winter here in New York. What do you do with a filly like this? Do you just turn her out for a little bit?
Probably. You know, obviously, I don't think we're going to have much turf later on, so, you know, we have to just regroup.
Send out Can't Fool Me, big long shot. As you were saying, you got to take advantage of these turf races when they come, because there hasn't been too many opportunities to do so. Do you give her any glimmer of hope today?
She likes Aqueduct. She always wins here. And she's a hard-trying filly. You know, she doesn't know how many races she's won or how many races the other horses have won. You know, she just tries.
Well, Horacio, congratulations here, having a nice meet at Belmont at the Big A, and best of luck later.
Thank you.
All right, Horacio De Paz with Dusk, the favorite, getting the job done pretty impressively. Probably get a little vacation after this one. Guys.
Maggie, thanks. We move into stakes action now. One of 8 stakes on this card, and this the big rematch and this rivalry we've been talking about. City Man won the West Point over Spirit of St. Louis, and then Spirit of St. Louis turned the tables in the Ashley T. Cole at Saratoga.
He did. Now, it felt with the field intact, or I know there were a couple of early scratches with Call Me Harry running, there was going to be more pace in the race, which I don't know if it was going to hurt necessarily Spirit of St. Louis, but it would have helped City Man. With Call Me Harry coming out, it helps Jerry the Nipper quite a bit, but it also is going to help Spirit of St. Louis, who has more speed and put himself more in the game. And I just don't think you're going to see the pace. It's going to help City Man. I picked City Man, but frankly, had I known this exact field was going to run, I would have gone the other way.
And City Man connections, Christophe Gallant, Reeves Thoroughbred Racing, they go back to Joel Rosario. It was Trevor McCarthy on last time out when he got beat. Joel back aboard today. He's back in town. We'll see if that makes a difference at all here. And it's fun to see these two battle. And as you said, it's not just those two. Jury the Nipper has talent. Dakota Gold has talent as well. We'll get more on this race coming up in a moment. Star-making Saturday, or potential future stars we saw on the Saturday card in a couple of these races, including the Grade 2 Mother Goose. Was that Seneca overnight for real when Shajara for Phil Bauer and Rigney Racing just ran sensational, moving from turf back to dirt? Well, she backed it up in the Mother Goose. Didn't run as fast, but she ran very good.
No, right. She didn't run quite as quickly. She got a 93 by her, but she is a very, very impressive, improving horse. And I think when the connections look back at it, they think, you know, we had the right idea running the Alcibiades. Maybe we should have run her the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies after that. They didn't, but now she's back in the dirt, and while she can run on the turf, it's a better surface. And, you know, I read Ortiz. I was talking to him after the race, who rode the eventual third-place finisher, a Colt, and he said to me, I just felt like I had a ton under me, and cruising around in the stretch, I really thought I was going to get the, you know, be able to get the win. And as he said, this filly just ran away from him. I mean, because they were, you know, you look at the second-place finish, Fighting Purpose. She was neck and neck with her coming in the stretch, making a move. A Colt was looming on the outside, and she just ran away from the field in the stretch. I was very impressed by her.
And you look at it, and yeah, even though she backed up a little bit from that huge effort last time out, she still easily won this field, against this field. And she's got way more room to grow now going into your 4-year-old campaign. It looks like Connections made the right move because they considered the distaff, but they wanted to get black type with a win here, and they get it.
Right, and the thing about her is, obviously a win in the distaff would be huge, but she was a big long shot in there. And now she's got things going the right way, and obviously they have to decide, I don't know, does Phil Bauer go to Oaklawn or not? Does he think about going down there, getting a prep in a race like the Azeri and pointing for the first Grade 1 for the division? The Apple Blossom, does he go to Sam Houston and run the Ladies Classic? I think he has to decide, does he want to start later in the year? But I think you have to be thinking, I have a horse that at least has a real chance to be a contender in those big races, much like Played Hard has been last year.
Yeah, sounds like they want to get one more in this year, though, at Churchill Downs, now Falls City, so we're going to see her again before this year is up. Meanwhile, in the 49er, the boys, 1-turn mile, ever so mischievous. Ever since Brad Cox has put blinkers on this horse, he started finishing his races, and now he's 3 for 3 with that move.
I thought he ran very well in here. To be fair, Film Star didn't get involved in the pace, so the first quarter was fairly tepid. Accretive didn't get out of the gate well and had to steady, and it possibly cost him the race. But listen, I was against Ever So Mischievous, and he got the job done. Got the right trip to get it done, but I think he ran well in doing it. You have to give him credit. It was a gutsy performance down the stretch. Dr. Ardito ran well to be a fast closing second. You can give Accretive a little bit of an excuse. 98 buyer for the winner, and you have to imagine that Brad is thinking, I'm going to run him back in the Cigar Mile.
They're thinking Cigar Mile, or they're also choosing between that and the Malibu, which would be strictly 3-year-olds on the West Coast.
I would have to rethink who is going to be in the Malibu, but I guess it is a thought, you know.
And It's interesting. I guess Maggie had talked to the owner yesterday, and they're already mapping out. It sounded like he wants a plan for next year's Breeders' Cup 100 Mile. But Brad Cox, talking afterwards after the race, said he's not opposed to stretching this horse and stretching him out, trying him longer.
Well, listen, I mean, I'm not going to, when Brad Cox thinks he can do it, then I'm not one to disagree or criticize. He obviously knows what he's doing. We'll see where Saudi Crown goes. We'll see what he does running in the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's nice to be Brad Cox and have this kind of talent in your barn and have those options.
Now, we're going to look at some of his main contenders for the Breeders' Cup a little bit later on in the program. Meanwhile, in the Awad, we're going to defer to Maggie, and a Chad Brown maiden comes up big.
Yeah, he does. And I was very much on the fence with this horse, more on the negative end of the spectrum going into the race, Greg, because the Kentucky Downs effort, while he did have a trip, he was outside on a day where you wanted to be inside and just on that hard wide chase throughout and still finished valiantly to get second. And furthermore, looking at him in the paddock, he just looked a bit immature, like there was a lot more development to be done. And it was encouraging to hear Chad say the same thing about this son of Twirling Candy, but it also makes the performance that we saw yesterday almost that much more impressive, because I think, as Chad has said, that the further he gets to go, the more developing he gets to do as he ages, I think the better we'll see this horse become. So he's a real promising horse for the future, as he won not like he was a maiden yesterday, like he had done it several times before. And an excellent ride by Manny Franco, as he and the Brown Barn have been clicking all season long, Greg.
Yeah, Manny Franco has just done a terrific job in big spots for Chad Brown. Been rewarded with getting these mounts because he continues to deliver.
No, I agree. And, last year, and you see this horse was owned by Clarvis Stables, who ran away, I assume, with the owner's title at this meeting with 12 wins. But Manny's been gaining a lot of confidence. And last year, I believe that he had won the most races for Chad Brown in New York. I'm not so sure it's not the case again this year. He's ridden a lot of winners for him this year.
And it looks like certainly in the driver's seat after this opening race to take this title at this meet as well here on closing day. We're going to get into race 2, the Mohawk, when we come back in this rematch between City Man. There he is, the 6-year-old, 11-time winner, over $1.2 million in earnings. But Spirit of St. Louis turned the tables on him when they met at Saratoga. Can he return the favor?
Speightstown. Munning. Echo Town.
It's Echo Town for Joe Alamo, and Echo Town raced away.
And Echo Town is drawing away in the stretch. Echo Town wins the Allen Turkin Stakes.
A sire line so prolific, it repeats itself. Echo Town.
Experience the adrenaline-pumping, suspense-filled action of the Sport of Kings no matter where you are with Naira Bets. It's fast, easy, and secure. Download the app today and start winning with our lucrative weekly promotions, thrilling handicapping contests, and a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program. Don't just watch horse racing, be a part of the action with Naira Bets.
Number 1 is Mo Donegal by Uncle Mo. And they're off in the Remsen. As they come on for the finish, and it's going to be tight here in the Remsen. Mo Donegal bearing down on the outside. It's Mo Donegal and early voting, and it is Mo Donegal to win the Wood Memorial. And it will be Mo Donegal to win the Test of the Champion, the Belmont Stakes.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
The National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame welcomed 20 racing stables to this partnership and syndicate night. Every stable mentioned protecting horses through aftercare when they leave the racetrack. Saratoga Stable showed off trophies and saddlecloths won by its famous winners of Triple Crown races, Funny Side, who won the Kentucky Derby and Preakness in 2003, and 'Tis the Law, who won the Belmont in 2020.
Because we have a great training team and advisors, Barclay Tagg, Robin Smullen. We feel, you know, any time that we're buying a horse, they know what to do with a good horse.
Bond Racing Stable showed off its homebred yearlings on video and explained they offer horses to partners in 10% increments. They make the decisions for the horses, which will all be trained by James Bond.
I think if you really want to get into horse ownership, this is the best way to do it, so you learn what it's all about. It's fractional costs, a very risky business, but at least you're not in it alone.
West Point Thoroughbred showcases its champion racehorse Flightline as an example of the heights to which a partnership can take partners. At Dreammaker Stable, Tom Gallo promotes buying into New York breds, which can race and win an open company, but have the protection of running in races restricted to New York breds. Jeff Michalowski liked what he was hearing.
We hope to one day see some winners if we get involved.
And before you get involved, it's recommended you perform due diligence on any partnership offerings.
Special day here to close out this meet featuring New York breds. You can find out more information on the New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund right there at nybreds.com. Our first stakes action on Empire Showcase Day, the Mohawk, mile and a 16th on the turf, and there is the millionaire City Man, the 11th-time winner for Christophe Clement. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Yeah, and we'll start with him, Greg, as City Man looks to turn the tables on Spirit of St. Louis again here, as he is one that I think last time could have been affected by being too far back in that race. And, you know, thinking about it, he's a little hurt here by the late scratch of Call Me Harry, who looked to provide some of that pace for City Man to run at. But we'll see. I think a little less ground at this mile and a 16th distance is probably good for him too, and he looks great here. Now, I will say that going back to that first start off the bench in the West Point, he was a little bit more energetic as opposed to what I've seen from him in these last two efforts here at the Big A. Again, that could be just Saratoga and how it often gets horses fairly wound up. But I have so much respect for City Man and think he is obviously one of the horses to beat. Spirit of St. Louis, we'll see if he can keep things rolling. But I do want to check in with a horse who looked to be poised to give these two a run for their money at certain times in his career. But his last race is disappointing in the West Point, and that's number 1, Dakota Gold. And what I've found from him lately is that he's completely lost any of his early tactical speed. As a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, on top of that, he had speed to put him in the game. Now, I don't know if that's by design, if they want him just to drop out the back, but it feels like in these short fields, you've got to be in contention. Now, there is a big difference between what this horse looks like today compared to last time. I thought he didn't look good in his coat. I didn't think he was carrying as good of conditioning. And furthermore, he got agitated and acted up pretty badly at the gate. Now, he draws the 1 hole, so keep a close eye on how he's behaving at the gate and once he gets in there while the rest of the field loads. But it just felt like there was something amiss with him last time, whereas today, his coat is resplendent, his muscle mass and conditioning is back on. At least as of now, he's very calm and quiet here in the paddock. So we'll see if he can get back to some of his better races here, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. Yeah, Dakota Gold, who you're looking at, it's just too good for how poorly he ran last time out. We'll see if he can get back to the horse we've known in the past.
No, I mean, listen, before that, he was a model of consistency. I mean, you look at every race he had run since running in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. In fact, he didn't really run that badly that day as the favorite, beaten just 2+ lengths. Amazing. He was favored over Modern Games. Of course, that's an infamous running of the race with the incident at the gate. But and Modern Games ran for purse money only. Last time was the first time he ran badly. That always worries me, though, Greg.
Well, there they are. The three men vying. That was a great shot.
That is great.
Riding for this riding title. Manny Franco, Arad Ortiz Jr. in between, and his brother Jose there to the outside. They all have a shot at it. It's going to be tough for Jose at this point. Now 3 back.
But it also shows that it's a friendly rivalry. I mean, obviously, they like the bragging rights, and believe me, all 3 of those guys want to win, but they're good friends, and, I mean, it's all in good fun.
Well, this race coming up, this could maybe essentially seal it for Manny Franco. And he's on the horse in your Spirit of St. Louis, who seems like this is the horse on the rise a little bit. He really stepped up and ran one of the biggest efforts of his career, if not his biggest last time out when he beat City Man.
And his tactical speed is going to give an advantage over City Man with a horse like Call Me Harry scratching, who is going to be the clear speed. It just totally changes the dynamics. And while he was favored 2 back and City Man caught him, last time out, not the same situation. He took a step forward, and I think the question you have to ask yourself is, he moving forward, and the other horses at best are sort of staying in place, right?
And look here, green cap outside the 3, that's City Man. And he took the overland route to try and catch up, and then he veers out in the stretch. We're not used to seeing that from him.
No, this was not the usual City Man. And I know a lot of people want to say, oh, well, Trevor McCarthy, blah, 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 blah. Give me a break. It's so unfair to blame Trevor because of that. At the end of the day, Trevor didn't deserve a lot of credit if the horse won, and he doesn't deserve a lot of blame if the horse lost. He didn't run his race that day, and we'll see if he can. Honestly, I picked City Man, but my picks would have been different. Had I known that Call Me Harry, who scratched around, I don't know, about 12 o'clock, had I known he wasn't running, I would have picked the 4 Spirit of St. Louis, and I think he should be the favorite in this race with 3 not running. And I respect City Man a great deal.
Yeah, may be the case. We'll see if what happens here before the gates open, if favoritism does shift. They're very close on the board. There's Spirit of St. Louis, and 3 wins, 4 starts on the grass. The only defeat, that West Point to City Man, when he actually was the 4-5 favorite that day.
And, you know, you wonder with him, would they leave him here in the winter and try him again in the dirt? I mean, he's only lost to Olympic Dreams, who's one of the favorites in today's Empire Classic. It's not like this horse can't run in the dirt.
He's got big numbers on the dirt, but he's been pretty good on the grass as well. It's good to have options. There's Dakota Gold, trained by Danny Gargan.
And can he turn it around after the last race? Same connections as City Man.
Here he is, 11 wins, over $1.2 million in earnings for City Man.
He's a very, very cool horse who has the best race of anybody in here, that Forbidden Apple win last year in Saratoga.
Much more lightly raced, but he is on the improve. Spirit of St. Louis, his 7th career start.
They bought this horse in April from Peter Brand at Dispersal for $280,000. It's looking like a steal.
Jerry the Nipper, he was second behind Spirit of St. Louis and ahead of City Man in the Ashley T. Cole.
I'm a big fan of Jerry the Nipper. I think he's a very, very cool horse. He ran well last time out, and with less speed in here and only Roos to worry about, he's going to be in a good position.
Yeah, Roos, he can have pace from the outside here. Dylan Davis, he's 12-1.
I agree, but he does seem like he's tailed off from his best. But I think the best move with Roos, send. Try to get clear and try to win in the front end, because he's not winning this race stalking Jerry the Nipper. You know, if he's going to be effective, and it's not going to be easy, go to the lead. It may not matter, but I just say go.
Well, these 2 to the outside, this one as well. Jerry the Nipper, they are the ones that want to be forward. Jose Ortiz on Jerry the Nipper for Todd Pletcher. And, you know, he's gotten to know Spirit of St. Louis and City Man pretty well the last couple of starts. Also, 2nd and 3rd to him the last 2 tries.
Yeah, but he's right there every time. But he just can't seem to beat these horses. You know, it just feels like they get the best of him, whatever the circumstances are. And I'm a big Jerry the Nipper fan. I'm not looking to knock him. He had a nice win up in Saratoga, but that was a moderately paced race in there. He has run some game races. He's running very well, so I'm not looking to say it's a negative. I thought he might have been a little better at times last year, and he had that nice win here in Open Company. He's just a cool, consistent horse. He just has the misfortune of being against, I think, a couple of New York breds that are, I think, unusually good in this division, you know?
15 of his 17 career starts, this horse you're looking at, he has hit the board. Pretty remarkable. $479,000 in earnings.
Well, I mean, you look at all of these horses. City Man, 11 wins, 10 seconds and thirds and 31 starts, right? You know, you look at Jerry Nipper, you look at Spirit of St. Louis. These horses are ultra consistent. They very rarely, I mean, look at City Man, right? Look at his buyer figures going back to the Kingston. They're all above 90s, and most of them hovering around 100. You look at Dakota Gold before the last race, his consistency. That's one thing that these horses in this field share, is an incredible consistency at a very, very high level.
Was part of it for City Man it was a slow pace early, and that kick from him, we didn't see that turn of foot from him last time.
Well, I'm going to give you one. Maybe the mile and an eighth is, I know he's done okay at a mile and an eighth, but maybe he's a little bit better at a mile to a mile and a 16th, a little bit shorter, and maybe his kick was muted a little bit at a mile and an eighth.
Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Andy was saying when it comes to the distance with regards to City Man. As I'm trying to dodge some raindrops here, I'm copping out a little bit under the covering here, but the iPad doesn't like the rain. That's what my excuse, and I'm sticking with it, is number 4, Spirit of St. Louis. He looks fantastic. I mean, we're getting into winter here. It certainly feels like the first day of winter out here trackside, but he is dappled head to toe. He just looks sensational, and he's improved with each start this year from a physical perspective, i.e. bulking up, getting more strong, and so on and so forth. Now, I do want to talk about the 2 pace horses on the outside, and Jerry the Nipper, who was sent away aggressively by Jose Ortiz in here, whereas Ruse, he was kind of kept with the pony, a little bit more quiet, but that might just be because Ruse is naturally more of an energetic horse, so a little bit more difficult for the rider to handle out on the racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see what they opt to do, but I definitely think Jose Ortiz is thinking, I've got to get this guy out and towards the front end and take advantage of the fact that we don't see Call Me Harry in here, which I think was a major defection in this race when it comes to how this race is going to be run, guys.
Yeah, really impacted this race with that one coming out. Maggie, thank you. Getting set for post time coming up. The rematch in this rivalry with City Man, Spirit of St. Louis, and really, for that matter, Jerry the Nipper, although he hasn't won against these horses, but he's usually right there. Both Maggie, Andy going with City Man, but again, had you known, and it was a late scratch, that the 3 Call Me Harry was coming out, you would have switched?
Yes, I would have picked the 4 in this race. So, I mean, I would have picked Spirit of St. Louis. My picks are written in stone, so they're not going to change. But I think Spirit of St. Louis in the scratch of the 3 has a significant edge on City Man. But I don't know. I mean, to be fair, at 6-5 and 2-1, City Man isn't that bad a gamble, to be honest. So if they were the same price, I prefer them. At this price, I'll stay with City Man.
You know, with that horse coming out, too, who wanted to be in front, could this maybe be the day Jerry the Nipper breaks through?
I mean, it's always possible. It just feels like he's had so many chances to beat them, and he's got to beat both of them. You know what I mean? It's not like he's got one dog he's got to beat. He's got 2 of them. So, and I think it'll depend a little on Roos. If they're not aggressive with Roos, and he's allowed Jerry the Nipper to crawl along at a moderate pace, he'll be tough. If they go with Roos, it'll help the other horses more.
Well, that's where they'll break from. That slight shoot at a mile and a 16th here on this turf course. Listed as firm as we get set, again, our first of 8 stakes races on closing day here on Empire Showcase Day. As they come onto the lawn, can that horse, question marks for a few of them in here. Dakota Gold, he's certainly the one. Can he get back to some of his better efforts? And even question marks for City Man, because even though he ran in the ballpark of some of his best figures, we expect to see better from him. We expect him to close and finish in those races.
I think that's very fair. I'm gonna go on the fact, and one of my initial beside the 3 was thinking the little less distance, and something that Maggie talked about when we were on the air earlier today. The little less distance might help him, might accentuate his closing kick. He looks nice to see him looking so good and happy going out there. It's a good rivalry. The thing is, we know who he is. It feels like Spirit of St. Louis is a horse that's moving forward, so he might even get better.
Yeah, he does seem like the one on the improve, turning the tables on him last time, and he ran thoroughgraph-wise, a figure that City Man has not reached in quite some time in that performance.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, City Man did run well when he beat him 2 back in Saratoga, to be fair, and that day he was able to sit close to the pace. And we'll see if Joel Rosario is looking to get him to be close to the pace today, because that might be his best chance to win.
And for what it's worth, that win, the Ashley T. Cole, came on this turf course for Spirit of St. Louis. What will Joel Rosario do? Anything differently with City Man. The horse was last early in that race last time out, but he's been effective doing that before.
No, he has. That's why I don't think it's fair to be critical of Trevor McCarthy. I think it's finding an excuse for a horse that just didn't really run that well that day. He didn't run terribly. He just didn't run quite as well. Probably more likely it was the added distance than it was Trevor. I mean, it's just convenient to me to blame a jockey in that situation.
Rematch coming up. Spirit of St. Louis, the 4, is the favorite at 6-5. Dueling with City Man again. We go upstairs to John Imbrial for the Mohawk to kick off the pick 4.
Ruse now moving into the starting gate. And we are ready for race number 2 here on Empire Showcase Day. And they're off in the Mohawk. From the outside, it's Ruse. City Man broke well, but is taken back and is racing in second position as Ruse goes on with it. Spirit of St. Louis now moves up, grabs second over City Man with Jerry the Nipper on the outside, and Dakota Gold is the trailer in 5th. The pace setter is Longshot Ruse, who will take the field into the clubhouse turn. It's Ruse on top. Spirit of St. Louis tracking in second, and down on the inside is City Man, who is next in third, followed by Jerry the Nipper and Dakota Gold at the back. Opening quarter mile, 24 and 4/5 seconds. Ruse by a half length. Spirit of St. Louis, the favorite on the outside and second by a length. Then City Man, Jerry the Nipper, those two are right together, third and fourth, and Dakota Gold continues to trail. It is still Ruse holding the lead over Spirit of St. Louis. Half mile in 51 and 2. Ruse by a length. Spirit of St. Louis in second. City Man in the white cap down on the inside. Alongside is Jerry the Nipper, and Dakota Gold continues to trail. Positions are unchanged as the field goes into the far turn. It is Ruse by a half length. Spirit of St. Louis continues to race in second, and now Spirit of St. Louis is inching closer to Ruse. It's Ruse on the inside and Spirit of St. Louis on the outside. They're right together. City Man is in behind, then Jerry the Nipper and Dakota Gold, and the field is in the stretch. Here comes Spirit of St. Louis right alongside of Ruse. City Man is coming on now, so it's 3 of them across. City Man, Spirit of St. Louis, Ruse is down at the rail. Spirit of St. Louis has the lead. City Man driving on the outside. They come on for the finish. Spirit of St. Louis, and a milestone victory for jockey Manny Franco, career win number 2,000.
How about that for Manny Franco? Historic victory, and he takes the first 2 on the card. Spirit of St. Louis just has City Man's number now.
And City Man, you know, I'm going to take those fractions with a grain of salt. Regardless, Joel did a very good job. You saw him riding him out of the gate to get that position. City Man got to Spirit of St. Louis. You would have thought he could beat him from there. Now, granted, the race was run in a manner that was more favorable to the running style of Spirit of St. Louis. Having said that, City Man, no excuse. He ran his race. He ran very well. He just lost to a horse that's a little bit better than him right now. And a very nice horse and a terrific rivalry. And that's one of the fun things about these New York bred days.
Rubber match and the last 2 in this series between these 2 very talented New York breds have gone to Spirit of St. Louis. And yeah, he's just a horse that seems like he is on the rise. 4-year-old as opposed to the 6-year-old City Man who's delivered so many big moments for his connections, but comes up just a little bit short. And again, you know, as you said, they went, what, if those are right, which we have a hard time believing.
They're a little tough to take at face value. I don't know. Maybe they were. I mean, I know we got a couple of sprinkles, Greg, but we really didn't get any rain to speak of. So to suggest the course is somehow much softer, we'll see how the races play going forward. Maybe we took a little rain, but I don't know.
Spirit of St. Louis now 4 wins, 5 starts on the grass. Chad Brown, Madacat Stables, Michael Dubb, and Manny Franco with the early double that provides him with a 2,000th victory of his career. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, one of the top trainers on the planet, Brad Cox, had a record-tying 4 wins back in the 2020 Breeders' Cup. 9 wins total, all since 2018. He's got a chance to add a few more. We'll have a preview next.
to fend off Elite Power, who's motoring like a big chestnut tank on the outside. And Elite Power and Gunite, Elite Power got him right on the money in 109.22 seconds.
Herman, the classic sire.
Dominant from day one.
At $5 million, $5 million, $5 million.
The one and only Monomoy girl.
Oh my goodness, right here. Where do we get it about here? What do you ask for one like her?
Here is Gamine, the $1.8 million two-year-old. 9 career wins in 11 tries. She was off the board just once in her career.
Back on America's Day of the Races on our FS2 coverage. It's brought to you where you can play it all at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Who carved those? Did you help out?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I'm one of my many talents.
I thought
is carving
so.
pumpkins.
Career win number 2,000 for Manny Franco as he takes the early double as well in Spirit of St. Louis. Victorious. Now back-to-back starts over City Man here in the Mohawk. Our Winter Circle lead-in brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton November Sale, the world's premier breeding stock event. Nominate now to the sale where stars are sold.
And Manny Franco, 2000's win, opens up a 3-win lead for the title. He's riding a horse who's 3-5 in race number 4, or race number 3. It's looking like it's Manny Franco's day today. Couldn't be happier. Great guy, great rider.
Chad Brown, Mattakett, Michael Dubb. The other connections here with this on the improve 4-year-old who has been close to perfect on the grass. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Here with Manny Franco and his daughter Valentina. She was ready. She had the 2K ready to go. And Manny, what a way to win your 2000th win aboard Spirit of St. Louis. And you could see you knew what you just accomplished.
I'm just grateful, to be in help. I want to say thanks to all the trainers, owners, my agent, John Panagot, for all the support, all the support that everybody has been giving me since I get here in New York. And my family is, I think the family is everything. I'm glad that I got my dad here, my brother, daughter, and my wife, so I'm just happy.
You couldn't happen to a better guy, Manny. You, day in and day out, you work so hard. You always have a smile on your face, but you're a fierce competitor, too. Let's talk a little bit about this guy, though, Spirit of St. Louis. He has really surged to the top of this division for New York breds in a relatively young career so far. Talk about his development.
Man, he's a nice horse. Since the beginning, since the first day I get on him, I rode him the first time on the dirt. And Chad told me that he might be a turf horse, so he won still that day, and now he's a super horse in the grass, and it's a New York bred. Chad has been doing a great job with the horse, and he's keep improving every time he runs, so I like that.
Absolutely. Now, you've won the first two. You could win the first three as Caldwell Loves Gold coming up next. She's one that does like to do her best running from behind. I think a little bit against it last time out. What are you expecting from her today?
Yeah, hopefully the stretching out in distance help her. You know, I think she closed well. Hopefully I have some pace in front of me and come running. If not, I have to work. I have to work the trip to get there.
Well, Manny, congratulations. Valentina, what do you have to say to Daddy? Say, go, Daddy. She just smiles and looks pretty. Manny, congratulations. So happy for you.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, guys. Spirit of St. Louis, a very meaningful win here for the Franco family.
Oh, that's special to have the family here and the daughter, I think, just too intrigued with those balloons to have a response.
She's getting the spoils of the 2000 win. There's no doubt about it.
Good for Manny. He just goes about his business quietly. I call him the silent assassin. He's as talented as anyone in that room, probably the most athletic guy in that room. But he's just progressed year by year, and now he's one of the top riders in the circuit.
And he gets a trophy presentation from Najah Thompson. So, I mean, how great is his day going? But I agree. I'm a big Manny fan, have been for many years. But his riding is just getting better and better. And you can see the confidence. You can even see the confidence in his interviews, too. You can just see how much he's coming along, and it's great to see. Listen, he's been a good rider for a long time, but he's really taken that step into the upper echelon.
And the mount he had in that race, that's becoming a pretty fun horse to watch, Spirit of St. Louis.
Yeah, no, I agree. And to be interesting, you know, I never asked Chad Brown if they would consider leaving him here to run him on the dirt, give him a chance in the dirt. Now, they may just want to give him some time off. He's been running for quite a while, so he probably will do that. But it's not as though he can't run in the dirt.
Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day is next. It's brought to you by Spendthrift, home of North America's 4-time reigning champion, General Sire into Mischief. It's the Maid of the Mist, 1-turn mile, 2-year-old fillies, and Manny Franco, huge chance for this early triple. Caldwell Loves Gold by a mile, the horse to beat in this race.
He was compromised when he lost to the number 5 in today's race, Kara's Time, by a racetrack that was incredibly kind to speed last time, and Kara's Time took advantage of it. And you look at Kara's Time, it's hard to imagine where that performance came from last time. Now listen, we'll find out today. Maybe she is an improving horse, and she'll run well again today, but I think the track had a lot to do with it, and all things being equal, Caldwell Loves Gold looks like very, very much the horse to beat here.
Badly crowded out of the gate. She was so far back, made this huge run to get in contention, and just came up a little bit short. Trained by Brad Cox, who is looking to add a few more Breeders' Cup wins to his tally, and he has some big names that are going to show up on championship weekend.
It's not a bad lineup of horses. I think Caravel's a little over the top.
You said that last year when she won.
No, I didn't even think she was a contender last year, so it wasn't over the
she
top.
had no chance.
Right, yeah. Well, you know what? Her days of getting soft paces have seemed to have ended.
Well, two of his biggest chances, obviously, Distaff and Classic. We're going to talk about those two. Idiomatic has really come on for him.
I agree. Now, it's going to be a different scenario in here because there's plenty more speed in this Breeders' Cup Distaff she's been dealing with. But if you look at her Delaware Park handicap win, where she had trouble at the start, she came from well back that day and still ran a big buyer. So it's not like she needs to have the benefit of the lead to win these races. She's been in great form. She's improving. And I have to say she's the horse to beat because we don't know where Clairiere is right now. Was it just the slop? Was it the slow pace in the Shoe V? Those are questions she's going to have to answer because she's going to get a fast track and she's going to get a fast pace. But right now, Idiomatic is the now horse coming into this race and the one I think is the one to beat.
Back-to-back Grade 1 wins, and is she your champion if she wins this race?
100%.
Yeah.
But Clairiere, don't forget, Clairiere has 2 Grade 1 wins. Clairiere wins. She's absolutely the champ. Now, here's a question for you. What about search results? Where is she in this discussion? Right now, she's nowhere in the discussion. But Chad Brown told me she's training great heading towards the race. And I think it'll be interesting going there. She's going to be a bit forward, but she can rate. Can she win at a mile and an eighth? She has run well at a mile and an eighth before in both the Kentucky Oaks and her win in the Gazelle. That Distaff, looking through the Breeders' Cup race, and I did my first sort of run through, might be the most interesting race in the entire day.
We love this weekend. It's hard to believe it's coming up so quickly, and we're all going to be putting together short little videos that'll be up soon.
I'm out
previewing a couple of races. In the Classic, Saudi Crown off that huge effort in the Jim Dandy for this horse. Brad Cox did not want to rush him. He didn't want to go immediately to a mile and a quarter in the Travers. Gave him a little time. Instead went to Parks, gets a Grade 1, and Now he's going against the big boys.
Yeah, and he's the speed there with Arabian Night. Now, he may be faster than Arabian Night, to be honest with you, so he could be in front. You got to take that shot with him. I'm a big fan of this horse. How he ends up doing going forward, I don't know. You know, is he going to be good enough to win this race? The Classic, an interesting race, sort of open right now to some other horses. He's got to deal with Arcangelo as well. He's got to deal with White Abarrio. But he is a very good horse, and his speed makes him very dangerous.
Huge praise from his trainer, Brad Cox. He felt this horse has as much ability to get a mile and a quarter as Nick's Go did.
Really?
So we'll find out. And I think that's going to be one of the most interesting sort of subplots on championship weekend, this pace duel between Saudi Crown, Arabian Night. Who is the quicker of those two?
The pace projector at Timeform US has Saudi Crown as the faster one. I mean, think about the pace that he was involved in the Dwyer. I know that Arabian Night's quick as well, but he's very fast. But Bob Baffert, not one trainer, looks to rate his horses. One of the things we love about the way his horses run.
Not just those two for Brad Cox, very talented 2-year-old as well, who we got to see here in New York with more on Timberlake. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, Greg, of any 2-year-old colt that I have seen this year, Timberlake has by far been the most impressive physically, at least. He is just so big, so strong, and well in advance of many of his rivals. Now, I do give the runner-up in the Champagne General partner a good look as well. But the only concern I have about Timberlake is while he was far more professional in the Champagne, removing those blinkers, where in the Hopeful he got very headstrong after just slightly breaking a beat slow and then kind of running off with Florent Giroux down on the rail, he was much more tractable, much more pliable in his hands without the blinkers on. But that was around one turn here in the Champagne, so you get a little bit of a faster pace out in front of you. Will that develop around the 2 turns out at Santa Anita? Now, there's no doubt about it. Physically, he can handle it. It's just mentally, where is he at in his development as a racehorse? He needs to learn to still be a little bit more patient, but at least we saw him heading in that direction with his emphatic win in the Champagne. I'm so excited to see what this horse does in this juvenile and as the year progresses, as we're about to hop on the old Triple Crown trail. Greg?
It'd be such a great weekend. Timberlake, Locked, are they the two sort of standouts to you in that juvenile?
No, well, I don't know. Moose looked very, very good winning out in California his last start, and we don't know how far Prince of Monaco wants to go. Certainly not going to discount Bob Baffert's 2-year-olds. That's a wide-open race. I mean, Locked is going to be the favorite, I think, at this point, but I think there's a lot of horses that can win there.
Well, the Wine Steward wasn't far behind him either, New York bred for
but
Mike
Locke
Maker.
Ran a significantly better race than the Wine
wider
Steward
race,
did.
of course. See what happens, and that'll be, of course, on that Friday Saturday program for championship weekend, the juvenile. We're going to get into the Maid of the Mist.
Off the turf, by the way, we should let people know.
When we come back, that has just been announced. I was going to wait until we come back, but yeah, off the turf the rest of the afternoon, that just came in. We'll be back, 27th running, Maid of the Mist, when we come back, and it's Caldwell Loves Gold. Manny Franco looking for the early triple next.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie.
McKenzie in a dominant performance.
1,200,000 right there. 1,200,000. 550. Mitchell, 550,000.
And now 500. And 500,000. Thank you.
450. 75. 475,000.
There are more than 3,500 reasons buyers came to Keeneland November last year. Because as you look to the future, this is where you'll find whatever you're looking for. And then some. And then some more. The place you have to be to find the one you have to have. Join us as the world comes to Keeneland, November 8th through the 16th. Browse the catalog at november.keeneland.com.
City of Light, a multiple Grade 1 winner with $5.6 million in earnings. Winner of the Grade 1 Malibu, the Grade 1 Triple Bend, the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, posting a 110 buyer, and the Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup, posting a 112 buyer. The best son to date of leading stallion Quality Road. City of Light stands to continue his sire's legacy at Lane's End.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Stock event, the November sale at Fasig-Tipton. Secret Oath entered last year's Kentucky Oaks as one of the top 3-year-old fillies and affirmed her place with a 2-length score over one of the deepest fields in recent memory. She captured the Martha Washington and the Grade 3 Honeybee by a combined 14 3/4 lengths before taking on the boys and finishing third in the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby, becoming an Eclipse Award finalist for 3-year-old filly. This year, she won the Grade 2 Azeri and ran second in the Grade 1 Apple Blossom, La Troyenne, and Personal Ensign for owner Bryland Farm and trainer D. Wayne Lucas. From the first crop of Champion Arrogate, Secret Oath is out of Absinthe Minded, a multiple Grade 1 placed stakes winner by Quiet American. She has career earnings of more than $2.4 million. Kentucky Oaks winner Secret Oath, selling this November at Fasig-Tipton with Blue Water Sales.
Irish Hill Century Farm in Stillwater has grown to 450 acres. Expansion demanded by Mayer owners.
Got the Saratoga water. You know, we have the minerals. It's on sandy ground, and underneath there that water's got everything in it that you want.
And Mayer owners want the farm stallions. Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner Big Brown.
And his babies, they run just like him. He adds leg, body. If you need improvement, Big Brown's going to do it.
King for a Day is by emerging sire of sires, Uncle Mo. Looking at Lee earned his spot on the roster by finishing second in the 2017 Kentucky Derby. War Dancer's offspring have earned more than $5 million. Warrior's Charge is a son of Munnings who notched 2 Grade 3 wins on his way to earning more than $1 million. And everyone's waiting to see if the handsome son of American Pharaoh, Waiting, produces the kind of speed he himself displayed as a 2-year-old in training. The stallion roster is a joint operation between Irish Hill and Duchess Views Farm.
And we decided to merge the stallions, put them under one roof and co-manage them together. And it's worked out great. We're saving the owners a lot of money, and we're getting more mares to the stallions.
Beginning with the 2023 breeding season, the partnership expanded to include multiple Grade 1 winner Mind Control, who stands at Rock Ridge Stud in Hudson.
Lorray and I and Rick Burke at Irish Hill and Jerry Belinsky have been talking about doing this for years, and he came along and it just gave us the impetus to do it.
Back with you on Empire Showcase Day. For more information, again, on the New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund, you go to nybreds.com. It pays to be a New York bred, and special day to showcase this program this afternoon. We have the Maid of the Mist coming up, and all eyes on this one here, Caldwell Loves Gold. Real quick, just to reiterate what we said going to break, 2 more races were scheduled for the grass today, races 4 and 6. We are now off the turf for the rest of the day. So race 4 will remain at 6 furlongs. Race 6 will now be run at a mile distance. As for this horse, this would give Manny Franco the early triple and is way the horse to beat. Now the 1-4 favorite. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Yeah, as we heard Andy say before the break, she was definitely against the track and still ran on well despite being wide and far back early on a day in which you did not want to be doing that. I've always had high hopes for Caldwell Loves Gold. She's a good-looking daughter of Golden Sense, and she's exactly what you want at this point of time with these juveniles. She's bigger, she's more imposing, and she has that kind of stretchier frame that suggests to me that she is going to actually relish the mile, as we just heard from her jockey, Manny Franco, too, saying that he feels the same way. But a horse that I'm kind of interested in to use underneath is number 6 in here. That is Valentine Gift, daughter of Bellamy Road, won first time out for Bobby Robato, whom we don't often associate debut winners with, to be fair. I think she ran very good. I mean, Dusk hounded her the whole way. Now, Dusk is obviously more of a turf horse, as we saw with her big win in the first, breaking her maiden, but she was pressured the whole way, and she kept going. Now, I don't think we'll necessarily see her on the front end. I feel like there might be some quicker horses stretching out in here, but she makes an excellent impression. You know, I liked her on form. I liked her off that first effort. I like her even more now having seen her. I wasn't in the paddock for her debut, but beautifully turned out and taking this second race really in stride. Very well composed, but alert. She knows what's going on. She knows her job. I kind of like her, Greg.
All right, Maggie, we'll see how she can do here against a huge favorite that obviously this race goes through. Caldwell Loves Gold, you would think. We get to our post parade. We'll start with Bernie Takes Charge. Trevor McCarthy, 15-1 from the inside.
Yeah, is going to have to improve. An easy win off the turf up in Saratoga, but not fast enough to be competitive here.
Mike Maker, Arad Ortiz Jr., my main squeeze.
Disappointment last time, the Joseph Jim off. A nice maiden win. Can she bounce back?
Here's the big favorite. Caldwell Loves Gold. 2 wins, and then that second with a compromise beginning last start.
Don't like to endorse 1 to 4 shots, but she overlays this field on paper and has a legitimate excuse with trouble and a bias last time.
This filly beat her last time out, but again, Caldwell Loves Gold had that compromise beginning.
She did it on a heavily biased surface.
Valentine Gift for Bobby Robato won the debut.
Yeah, Maggie seems to like this horse a lot more than I do. It was not a fast race, but maybe she can build on it.
Kaz Rose won a debut at Penn National.
Now, these connections are sharp, but this horse would have to improve a ton to be competitive here.
And like a Rolling Stone, Kendrick Carmouche outside, 31-1, and 2 races have come at Finger Lakes.
Yeah, does get a trainer switch to Bruce Levine coming in for the same connections that had it at Finger Lakes. Another horse that would need to improve.
So let's go back to Paris time, and that was the upset winner, 22-1 of that, Joseph A. Jimma. And Caldwell Loves Gold in a tough position from the beginning. And this horse would just finish at a big price on the front end.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to take anything away from Kara's time. Give her a lot of credit, took a big step forward. But considering her first 2 races and the incredible difference in the speed figures, you'd have to think the slop and the track had something to do with it. And it was a track that was extremely kind to speed, making it very difficult to close. And Caldwell Loves Gold, losing as the favorite or not, she still ran very well against the bias, even if she didn't have trouble, and she had trouble. Listen, we're endorsing a 1 to 4 shot here, but I'm not trying to bet against her here. I hope Kara's time has improved and she runs well here, but this is an acid test for her. Was it the slop? Was it the track? Or is she a horse that just got better?
5 minutes to post coming up. Obviously, you would think Dylan Davis wants to be aggressive again with this filly and put her forward in the race. Can anyone run with her early in here?
No. Well, I shouldn't say that. Bernie Takes Charge has got a little bit of speed, you know. I have to think, though, Dylan's going to look to be as aggressive as he was last time. He's supposed to be in front of her. The pace projector time for him has the 2 in front. I'm not buying it.
That was 24-4.
Well, it was the mile around the turns. The paces are slower there, but no, I think Kara's time's going to be in front. I think her bigger threat could come from the number 7, Kaz's Road, out of a 5-furlong race with speed at Penn National. If she's a horse is a problem for the 5 early, I think it'll be the 7, not the 2.
What about the 6, potentially, Javier Castellano?
Yeah, that was a very moderate pace that day. She's not slow, but she's not quite as fast as the 5. But listen, she was forward.
She is stretching out. That was at a sprint. 5 minutes away from this Maid of the Mist. Let's go back to Maggie.
Well, the husband takes over on number 2. Bernie Takes Charge for Katie Davis. Trevor McCarthy riding today, and he certainly gave this filly a massive warm-up, as you guys were just talking about the possible pace setters. Now, there's no doubt about it. Number 5, Kara's time, is very sharp again, but I don't think she necessarily gets the run of the race as she did last time in pulling up that off that upset victory in the Joseph A. Jimma. And furthermore, Bernie Takes Charge, big, good-looking daughter of Take Charge Indy, from a family on the bottom side that has produced a lot of precocious types of runners. So as we just heard, the track is now listed as fast and sealed, I believe, which that's what it looks like standing right next to it. But moving on to a horse coming in from Finger Lakes, Bruce Levine will take over training duties here on Like a Rolling Stone. Now, she's a daughter of Bust and Stone, so I highly doubt the mile's kind of her gig. but look for her to be forward as well. She was very aggressive in the paddock, very aggressive out on the track as Kendra Carmouche opting to stay with the pony, something he doesn't often do, as she's just built like that sprinting type. So the mile obviously is a big question mark, but I just wanted to mention her as another possible horse that should be forward in here, especially from that outside post, whereas last time drawn on the rail at Finger Lakes never looked as though she was in a comfortable position, Greg.
See if she can break better. I mean, her first 2 starts at Finger Lakes this 8 has had issues getting out, and if she can break clean, maybe she will be part of this pace. 36-1 from the outside. All the attention throughout it's been on Caldwell Loves Gold. She already has a stakes win on the resume at Saratoga in the Seeking the Ante, and clean break from her. She's going to be very tough in this spot as the board reflects. Stranger things have happened, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they run the races because that's why they run the races. But the reality is that Caldwell Loves Girl had run very, very well, even when breaking her main with a slow fig. But then, excuse me, a terrific effort in her second start with an 80 buyer. And she backed it up last time because even though she only got a 77 buyer, once again, when you consider the trouble in the beginning of the race and you consider the bias of the racetrack, that was a better effort than her win, actually, in my opinion, 2 back. And I don't see any reason she's supposed to have trouble with the distance. She is extremely likely to win this race.
So 1-2 favoritism. Her pilot just collected win number 2,000 in his career, Manny Franco, in race number 2 on that victory on Spirit of St. Louis, and a chance to start off Empire Showcase Day 3 for 3.
And doesn't it also feel like it's not going to even be as easy on the front end for Kara's Time, even forgetting about the racetrack last time, because you have other potential speeds among the 6, 7 in this race. Now, I think the 7 is the one that can press her. But so I don't think that she's going to necessarily have an easy time up front as it is. And she's got to get a farther distance, though she has a pedigree to suggest she shouldn't have a problem handling it.
Well, certainly big test to see if that was for real. Forget the fact that, yeah, Caldwell Loves Gold compromised that day. Can't she just put forth an effort like that, win or lose? Because it was a huge step up for her. Hadn't come close to producing that kind of performance. Kara's Time, the 5 in the prior 2 starts. But maybe she is just light bulbs come on. She's figured things out, and she could put in a competitive effort today. She's 6-1 right now. So Dylan Davis kind of expected to be firing out of the gate on the Joseph A. Jimmo winner. But there is the huge favorite, Caldwell Loves Gold. Brad Cox trains. And Manny Franco looking for number 3 through the first 3 on this Empire Showcase Day card. Let's go upstairs for the Maid of the Mist to John Imbrial.
Waiting for Valentine Gift, Kaz's Rose, and Like a Rolling Stone. Field of 7. About ready to go in the 27th running of the Maid of the Mist Stakes. Kaz's Rose is in, and number 8, Like a Rolling Stone, will round out the field. We're all set. And they're off in the Maid of the Mist Stakes. Bernie takes charge from the inside. Kara's Time is right there. Kara's Time has the lead. Bernie's takes charge running in second with Valentine Gift next and third. Kaz's Rose on the outside is in fourth. Caldwell Loves Gold is in between horses. To her inside is My Main Squeeze, and to the outside is Like a Rolling Stone. They've crossed over now from the chute to the main track, and Kara's Time is the leader here by a length. With Bernie takes charge second by a half length. Valentine Gift runs in third, the quarter in 23 and 4. My Main Squeeze is advancing from fourth. Then comes the favorite, Caldwell Loves Gold, who's sitting in fifth, 5 lengths off the lead. On the outside, Kaz's Rose, Like a Rolling Stone, is the trailer. The leader is Kara's Time by almost 2 lengths. Bernie takes charge in second. My Main Squeeze, Valentine Gift, they're heads apart, third and fourth. Caldwell Loves Gold looking to advance now, being asked for more, and now moving up in between horses, the half and 48 and 3. Kara's Time. Here's Caldwell Loves Gold on the outside. Then Bernie takes charge. My Main Squeeze advances down at the rail. And now there's a quarter of a mile to the finish with Kara's Time in front. My Main Squeeze has moved into second. Then comes Bernie Takes Charge and Caldwell Loves Gold. Kara's Time. My Main Squeeze now to the front. Kara's Time is back running in second. They're coming on for the finish, and it is My Main Squeeze and Erod Ortiz Jr.
My Main Squeeze, Erod Ortiz Jr. gets his 31st winner of the meet. He teams up with Mike Maker. And this horse well back of both Kara's Time and Caldwell Loves Gold, and that Joseph A. Jimma turns the tables today.
You have to really wonder if the sealed track had something to do with it, because a completely different performance today. I mean, My Main Squeeze could not have been worse last time. Maybe the fact to get a fast track, sealed or not, helped him out, because he was different. I don't know what to say about Caldwell Loves Gold. He sort of got out with Manny, and he just had no finish. I know he may have come close to finishing second or even finishing second, but he did not run his race today. And you have to wonder if he didn't handle this sealed track the same way he handled an open track.
5-1. My Main Squeeze.
5 was second. And the 5 showed her last race. Her last race was legit.
Yeah, ran good.
And this changes the dynamic, right?
Jockey
winning?
Jockey race is not over yet by a long stretch. Erod Ortiz staying in the mix. So just 2 back now of Manny Franco with 6 races remaining.
Oh, that changes a lot. I mean, if Manny had won, it would have been 4, and it really would have been over. Going forward now.
7 remaining.
7 racing. Irad's got a chance on running with scissors. Manny no longer in the race. Irad not in the next race, and Manny on the morning line favorite, Fenty Valentine. Race number 6. Well,
3-5-4-2 finish, by the way, and 5-1 here on this filly.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But she was a convincing winner here and puts herself in position to be the divisional winner for the New York Breds going forward.
2-5 favorite defeated. Huge upset. Going to play big in the multi-race wagers. Made of the miss to My Main Squeeze on this fast sealed racetrack. We'll be back. Race 4 off the turf when we return.
What's better than one fill? 2 fills.
That was a keen turn of speed.
2 stakes wins at 2.
And it's 2 fills.
2 5.5 Ragozins.
And the son of hard spun.
2 105 buyers, including the Kentucky Derby.
And a passion run by 2 fills.
In the last 15 derbies, no horse has been faster.
This is a serious 3-year-old.
And at 12.5, you'd better book fast. 2 fills, this year's fastest 3-year-old around 2 turns.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program. When shopping for your next race prospect, consider that New York Breds start with an advantage. Our New York Breds run for serious green. At Saratoga Race Meet, New York Bred maidens run for up to $88,000. New York Bred allowance horses run for up to $100,000. And New York Bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race. So get back with the program. Seriously. For the Barraclough family of Saratoga Glen Farm, raising horses is all in the family.
I think it doesn't work if you don't have your whole family involved in what you do.
New York native Dan Barraclough and Kathy Barraclough, whose accent gives away her Australian roots, fell in love on horseback when they were leading trail rides at a resort in the Catskills. Even back then, they envisioned owning a horse farm and having children that would grow to share their passion for thoroughbreds.
We planned on it.
Not necessarily with me, but she planned on it for sure.
For the oldest, Taylor, middle son Shane, and the youngest Dean, the wake-up call comes early.
They'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, start stalls, feed, bring in, work the yearlings, work the layups, and then...
They get up and work, then we get up and go have fun as well.
Taylor is already an accomplished equestrian.
For compensation for working here, I got to have a mare here. This is my 1,000 words colt. I'm really excited. Hopefully I get to sell him, and I don't know, I think he's really cool.
Shane excels at sports, but understands that his work on the farm is key to the family's success. How do you think this will help you?
Mostly the work ethic of like how I do things in school with like a timeline maybe, or what I need to get done in a certain period of time and how fast I need to do it. Staying focused.
Dean prefers training his dog for agility trials to riding. He's even started Dean's Delicious Dog Treats to earn money for his passion. But even he picks up a pitchfork when it's time to clean a stall.
I'm watering, I open doors, I mow lawns, I help Dad.
The Barraclough clan credits another family for helping them become successful, the family of New York breeders, who were generous with time and advice.
And we had a lot of help along the way. Joe McMahon was a mentor for us. He helped us, get our first clients. It's been a very good community for us. Ann Morgan and Tim, when he was alive, they were very helpful and accommodating.
When this War Dancer filly races at Saratoga someday, she will carry with her all the love and care she received from all 10 of the helping hands at Saratoga Glen Farm.
Back on America's Day of the Races. For more info on the New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund, go to nybreds.com as we continue along Empire Showcase Day. And the Maid of the Mist upset win, keeping this man in the hunt for a riding title. Rat Ortiz Jr., this was a must if he's going to stay in the hunt, and able to beat the man who probably could have wrapped it up. Caldwell Loves Gold just did not show up with what we've seen from him in the past. And this filly from Mike Maker, impressive. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Pleased to be here with owner breeder Buck Butler. His lovely, his main squeeze as my main squeeze. Buck, I gotta ask you, was there an excuse last time?
You tell me. Yeah? You tell me. I mean, we're using the track as the excuse, but she showed up today. She definitely showed up today.
She was traveling the whole way. And two, physically, she's built like a filly that should love this mile.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we were hoping. We'll get her up to the mile, and she showed that that's where she belongs.
Talk a little bit about your horse later. The namesake for you, Rodney.
Okay.
Yeah. What are we thinking today? Last time it just didn't look like he was comfortable, but today he's drawn outside. Better chances?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed with the outside post. Yeah, I'm looking forward to his race.
Tell us a little bit about that name.
Oh, come on, you've heard this one before.
Our audience may not have.
My college roommate used to call me Rodney. It started out as Buckaroo, went to Rod Carew, and it became Rodney. And I decided I needed in fact, if you go out in the parking lot, I got it on the license plate now, so we're all set. No, with Saratoga plates.
That's so classic.
So he better come through.
I was going to say, hopefully he can drive out of the car, feeling pretty good with his namesake trailing you. But congratulations here. Huge win, and just a huge win for your breeding program as well. This family has just been producer after producer.
Thank you, Maggie. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And my main squeeze, just another one that comes out of the In Spite of Mama, the Mama Teresa line, guys. And Buck and his family have done such a great job in bringing these New York breds in fine fashion to the racetrack.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Rodney later on in the program, too. He'll be in that Hudson. Got to deal with New York traffic, though, in that race. It was so good coming back. Caldwell Loves Gold defeated here at a very short price. My Main Squeeze comes up with a stakes victory. Now 2 wins in the last 3 starts in our Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day.
Yeah, an impressive win by her, and figures like she's probably the favorite to be the New York bred 2-year-old champion. So Caldwell Loves Gold did not run well. Whether or not the sealed track didn't help her a lot. But listen, the winner didn't love the sealed track last time. Ran well in it today.
Later today, when we're back on for the second part of our coverage, it begins at 4 Eastern time. We'll have the Sleepy Hollow for you. 2-year-old boys get their shot at a 1-turn mile, and we'll have a heavy favorite in this race as well with El Grande O for Linda Rice from the inside.
Yeah, I mean, coming back in an ambitious spot in the Champagne and just didn't run his race against much better horses. Was he helped by the wet track? A big performance, but his race 2 back when he finished second, the Wine Steward, who's heading out to the Breeders' Cup after a second-place finish at Keeneland in a Grade 1, makes him very tough. We'll see. Can he just outrun him from start to finish? I guess we'll find out.
Well, this is a look at his victory on the sloppy going at 7/8. Bertram F. Bongard here at the meet. And he was dominant against Agalos the Great and Bon Chancé, and Agalos the Great and that other one. They're going to line up against him again today. Agalos the Great, I thought, had a chance to move forward today, but El Grande O is the one to beat.
He is the one to beat. We'll see if he can back it. You know, he's just had a pretty heavy workload running in the Champagne. Most of these horses, they haven't had a race since they ran behind him in the Bongard.
What about a horse like Mischief Joke? Mike Maker, Manny Franco again. A lot of seconds, though. 4 seconds from 7 starts.
I agree. And he took a step back going up to Finger Lakes, and he ran just 13 days ago as well. But he did have that big win 2 back. We'll see if the mile works for him. He's already overachieved, only $6,500 for this New York bred son of the terrific sire Practical Joke, and it has turned out to be a tremendous bargain. I'm going to guess he's already made 6 figures, $126,000. It's not bad to be a New York bred. That's a good return on investment, right? $6,500. 126,000.
We say it all the time. It pays to be a New York bred, and he's a living example of that. We'll see if he can step up, and Manny Franco can get a little revenge for being beat on a heavy favorite early on in the card. Just didn't seem like Caldwell Loves Gold was taking to the track today.
No, he really didn't seem to handle the track that well today, but maybe he just didn't run his race.
So that is coming up again in part 2 of our coverage. We're back on 4 Eastern start time. We'll be on from 4 to 4:45 with that Sleepy Hollow. What can you say about what we saw early on in this program? Manny Franco, career win number 2,000. Congrats to him. We're always happy to see him do well.
I agree.
And strong start, even though he gets beat on that heavy favorite in race 3. Good for him.
Yeah, you can't blame Manny for that. He didn't do anything wrong. He got position. He got between horses. The horse didn't show up. Not Manny's fault. Irad just let him know, I'm not going away. You're not winning this easily. Could have been 4. Now it's 2.
Yep, it's going to go down to the wire, it seems like, between those two to who's going to be the leading rider at this Belmont at the Big A meet. Again, we'll see you back at 4 Eastern on FS2 with part 2 of our coverage. The Mohawk, it was Spirit of St. Louis. Now back-to-back wins over City Man as he does it again in the Mohawk after that win in the Ashley T. Cole and an upset in the Maid of the Mist. Early triple not to be for Manny Franco. Rad Ortiz Jr. says, I'm still in this rider's race with this filly by Audible for Mike Maker with a stakes win. We'll see you at 4.
The Run Happies are running. The Run Happies are selling. The Run Happies are winning. Eclipse champion Run Happy is showing a new dimension with winners on turf, dirt, and all weather. A record-breaking sprint champion